Hey guys, and welcome back. This is Vonklous Gaming with another episode of Railroads Online. We are currently clearing trees. We're up here at the coal mine. And basically we're just clearing away for us to drop a track down through here. Since we decided to change directions, matter of fact, we need to go ahead and remove all of this. It's no longer needed. So let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. And we will... Let's see, groundwork. We need to get rid of the groundwork.
That's so fucking awkward.
Since our track is going to come through here. Alright, so that being said, I know I'm actually working from two different directions because I started out over yonder by coming from the smelter over yonder. That's such a redneck statement. Yes, I am a redneck. I'm from Louisiana. Big deal. Originally I was born in Houston though. So I'm actually a Texan at heart. I lived in Chicago for 6.5 years. Puerto Rico for 6. Yeah, I've been all over the place. Alright, so we're gonna finish cutting some trees through here. Get rid of that one, that one, that one, that one. We've already done some of these, but we want to make sure that we're out of the way with a lot of these trees as we come around the curves. Alright, now right here we're going to kind of change a little bit of direction. We're going to stay in this little valley here, as you can see. And then we're going to come up this way and just kind of work our way around. Right around this outside edge.
Jesus.
those trees. That tree. Probably that tree. That tree's gonna be in the way. There'll be several trees, I think, that we're still gonna have to get rid of down through there. Once we start laying our groundwork, we'll have more of an actual stand for where we need to remove trees, because the groundwork takes up a little bit more room. Alright, so now we're basically on the incline. So now we're climbing a hill again. Story of our life. Climb one hill, get off a hill, climb another hill. Welcome to Railroads Online. Alright, so then we're going to come through here. Want to come around through here, and then we're going to come right over there along that side. Once we get over there, we'll have to build a bridge across there. Alright.
I said, no, absolutely not. You're gonna release me.
So right here, we're going to come up this way. And alright, let's see what we got. Alright, we have that one. We need that one. Get out of the way, tree. And then we're going to come up this way. So you can kind of see our route now going down through there. Alright, right here we're going to have this bridge, but we need to get rid of that tree. That tree. Ah! That tree. Alright. And I think we're pretty much done all the rest of the way up.
Yo, what the fuck? Oh my god. How did you do that shit?
So now we kind of need to make up our mind on exactly what we're going to do while we're up here. So right now we're going to go ahead and build our terminal for our coal mine. And lay it out exactly how we want it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay some variable groundwork, and I'm actually going to start right about here, and I'm going to come up so that I'm above ground. Just like 2 clicks. Back up. Down. Two clicks. Alright, so that'll kind of lay out our track through here. Now, basically, we need to figure out exactly what we're going to do, because once you drop off beams and you drop off rail, we need to make a turn to go back the opposite direction. We do have a pretty good bit of room right here. we can actually go over to this section, do our turnaround, and we'll have a big enough area to do a whole shunt yard over here. So I think what we'll do is we'll clear out this area. So we're gonna drop these trees. Because we have a pretty good size area over here. One that'll actually be perfect for what we want to do. This may not be how some of the other guys are doing theirs, but I like to be practical. I like to have plenty of area to turn around and even be able to park and adjust the size of my train if I need to make it longer or shorter, or bigger, fatter, wider, whatever. So we're going to essentially use pretty much all of this area right up in here. So we want to get rid of all of this. Because we need to be able to build a build a firewood depot as well, because we got a long trip coming over here, and a long trip means that we're going to have firewood to resupply our train in order to head back home, or head back to the next location. So that being said, we got to be able to do all of that in this area, so we need quite a bit of area over here. We're going to need a sanding depot. We're going to need water. We're going to need shunt lines. We're going to need... I think that's pretty much it. Just sanding, water, firewood. And we got a long trip to bring this firewood way over here. Alright, so we basically want all of this area. And then we're just going to cut this back. Right here. Alright, that kind of clears out this area. So basically what I'm going to do is just go around. We'll create a shunt yard right up in that area, and then you'll come back and reconnect to this. So I think that'll work pretty good. So you'll basically just kind of go this way. Now we're going to have to adjust this, but this kind of gives you an idea. It's a big roundabout, but it's going to basically just kind of turn you around gradually. And then we can bring shunt lines off of anywhere up in here. So we'll need the firewood depot. Let's say we drop the firewood depot right here. So right here. Boom. Now you can pick up, you can drop off your rail, pick up your firewood. Which means right up in here, yeah, this is gonna have to change because this will be too close. Because we basically need a rail right here that is going to go to the left, and it is going to switch us and it'll switch us toward the firewood depot. So then we'll have our groundwork that'll take us here. so that we can drop off the logs right here. And then we'll need to switch back into the main line right up in here. So let's see where we can drop this track. And here we actually need to switch to the right. No, that's going to be wrong. Alright, so we need to switch to the left. Yes. Like this. But we need it back here. So probably about right here, I would seem to think. If you see my rock right here, see how this rail is not in the center? So we actually need to come over a little bit more with that one. So we're going to demolish that rail. And then we're going to relay it. Still not in the center, but it's probably close enough. We'll have to see. So if you come off of here with a rail, in order to get it to the center, right up in here, like so. Connect up to there. So that'll drop our track along through here. This is kind of a little bit wobbly, but I think it'll work. I think it'll work. And then basically we just need to drop some variable right here, staying kind of in the center so that we can see where we need to meet up to this one. And we'll have to raise it just a little to kind of put it on the same ground. Alright. Now we can connect the opposite side. So we're going to grab our rail, come just like this. now you can, when you come in, you'll be able to stay straight and get your iron, drop off your beams or whatever. You'll be able to come down this line, which you won't use very often, but you'll drop either cordwood, logs, or lumber right here, and that will produce firewood so that you can grab up your firewood as you need it. Then we will go ahead and drop a water tower right here as well, so you will be able to fill up on water as you need it. And we may do one on both sides. I think there's enough room there, so that way you have more than one water tower. Alright, so no matter which water tower you choose, you'll be able to, I think that looks pretty good. It's almost directly across from each other. Wow. Alright, and then right here we may need to cut those trees back just a little. I don't know if the sander will fit in that section. Let's see if it will, without being an issue, or if that's going to catch the other track. Yeah, I think it's, if we go over slightly, we'll be fine. Yeah, if we go over slightly, we'll be fine. So let's demolish that, and then let's slide it over just a little bit. So actually we want to be about right here. And that'll get us sand. And we won't be right up against our train. We'll have to take a look at that. I actually kind of twisted it a little bit, and I didn't mean to. That was a mess up on my part. So let me redrop that correctly. And that'll put it where it needs to be. Yeah, perfect. So it's not quite on the groundwork, so it'll be perfect. Because the train car only comes to the edge of this wood. So it's actually not going to, if you look right here where this saw is, this wood beams, the train car only overlaps from here to here, so this area here won't get in the way of anything. Alright, now I think what I would like to do is actually create a shunt yard that has an in and an out. So if you come in over here on the shunt line, And I may have to readjust my groundwork, because my groundwork may be in the way. So, I think what I would like to do is have I think that'll work. Let's connect that together and see if that'll work without making it too much of a... Oh yeah, that's perfect. Alright, so that still puts this in the center pretty much. Alright, so when you come out of here, you'll be able to shunt line off onto this rail, which we're going to actually bring another shunt line off of, or a couple of shunt lines, once we come around the other side. So you'll have multiple shunt lines, and I think that'll be perfect, absolutely perfect. So basically what we want to do is come back to right here. We want to grab our variable groundwork. It's a little high. Let's try that again. We need to make sure we're at the lowest point. There we go. And then we need to pop our groundwork here so that it comes around. Right beside what is here. But when we straighten out on this other side, that is when we're going to actually start our shunt lines. So like right up in here. So you'll have two tracks running beside each other right here. And then right here, it will start. Let's see. It's not what I want. Need the right. No. That's going to be the wrong way. So I do need it the other way, but we're going to have to actually start it right up in here for the other shunt lines. So we want to go right here. And unfortunately, we're going to be hitting the other track. So, well, no, not quite, but be pretty close. There's no good area right here without coming all the way to right here. I think that's basically what we're going to have to do right there. But let's go ahead and remove this real quick, because I need to complete the dirt work and get the groundwork laid. Otherwise, it's not going to allow it to lay it straight. So I think what we want to do is bring it back in right here so that these connect up right here. We may have to do it differently. I need to look at that, but the is we're gonna have a pretty good shunt line right here, but you're gonna come in and then right here you'll branch off onto another track if you need to. So right here, let's check that. Yeah, see, I think that's going to be too tight. I wonder if we can do it from right here. Let's try laying the switch right here. But see, that's gonna pop it actually going into the other rail. But right there, maybe? Let's see if this is going to look okay. Yeah, that's not bad. Alright. And then basically this line will just go around. Around the outside like that. And then we can bring another line right here beside it. So let's get rid of this. And then basically somewhere right up in here we'll have to connect everything back together. So I'm thinking that we will do two shunt lines, maybe 3. We have the beginnings of 2 right here. So we'll come right here, do our variable dirt work again. We need to find the lowest spot and create our this line here is going to be kind of tight. So the question is, on that line, we need to run a track going the opposite direction. So basically we're going to be coming in, if I can hit the right buttons, we're going to be switching to the right with a left switch. Correction. We're going to be doing it from this side. So let's see how long we can get that. So we actually need to do it probably about right here. Alright, and then basically this track will connect back into this one. So this line will continue this way and connect up to here. Oops, wrong way, dummy. Alright. So basically like that. So they'll come back into a single line. And then right here, they'll come back into a single line again. And I think that'll work pretty doggone decent. I may need to adjust that though, because I think this is going to be off the rails a little bit. Yeah, for this to meet up, this actually needs to be way over like this. Which means this dirt work here needs to go straight. And then start curving back in. So let's try that and see how that looks. Then we will... Oh yeah, beautiful. Alright, so that'll work. So we want to try to center it like so. And then these two will connect up. Like that. So that'll come back into that rail. And then this rail will come around. Like so. And basically we just got to do the same thing with this other line right here. Once we do that, we'll have our two shunt lines. We'll be able to park trains on when we're not using them. Or to get them out of the way. Whichever we need to do. And they'll be pretty good sized lines. So you can actually park a couple on this shunt line. You just have to pull one out and back the other out. You can park multiple trains on a shunt line. Just one has to go one way, one has to go the other. That's all there is to it. No biggie. Oops, I think I goofed that line. Yep, it's not gonna meet up right. So I'm gonna have to redo that one because I goofed it up when I was coming around and I got it off center. That's what happens when you get it off center. You gotta make sure you're on the center line. Otherwise, it is not gonna meet up right. And you'll end up with a goofy looking track that will cause issues. And I think that'll work. Alright. So we have our two shunt lines right there and there. And then we'll have our main line right here, which will go around and connect back into it. See guys, this is a process. You gotta do a little bit of thinking. I probably made this a little bit bigger than really what it has to be. But I like my trains to have pretty smooth turns. if possible, simply because the smoother, more relaxed turns you have, the less chance your constrict has of, or consist is actually how it's called. Your consist has a less chance of derailing. The better you make your track, the more smoother. You can have little bends and bangs, and I guarantee you, if you take a look at any rail up and down the US or Canada or whatever country you live in, and you take a look, go to your closest railroad and look down that track, it's not going to be perfectly lined up all the way. There's going to be little waves, little rough looking spots, things like that. There's no way you're going to be absolutely perfect with every rail that you lay every single time. There's no way. Unless you are just completely OCD crazy. That's the only way that you're going to be able to lay a rail that is going to be 100% straight every single time. And you're going to spend hours and hours and hours trying to get that track just right. And honestly, not too many people are going to do that. I mean, there will be some, but even in real life, that's not going to happen. There's no such animal as a perfectly straight track. And even if there is, it's only because it's in a museum somewhere. That's the only reason. Alright, so I have where this comes out right here. I think what I want to do is cut this back, bring this straight across. But see, I don't like how that dirt work hanging off the side. And then I want to bring it back over, like to right here, and then create a cut back where you can cut back into both lines. So what we need to do is right here where we have this switch, we need to come off with another switch going the opposite direction. So not that way. Let's see, we need this one, and basically about right up in here. I want to try to center it up as much as possible so that when I connect my rails from here to here, they're pretty decent. Okay. And then basically this is going to be the switchback track, so you'll be able to come through, go over to the shunt lines, come back, and go basically just round and round and round in a circle. But over here, we want another one about right up in here, going the opposite direction. Okay, so when you come up this incline, you will be able to switch off. Wow, where did my track go? We don't want it that way, so this is gonna actually be a left one, like this, and here we want to be able to switch off as well. So, and we want it kind of where it's in the center. Alright, so right here you'll be able to go over there, but then you'll have this switch back that brings you back to going toward the smelter, and you'll have this switch back that brings you back into the iron. So if you have to pick up cars off the shunt line, you can bring them in, like say you bring a load of beams and a load of rail in here and you drop it off. Then you can take those cars to the shunt line, drop those cars, pick up your coal cars, and then come back under your coal mine in order to grab your coal. And that's basically what we want to do. That being said, we now have to figure out how we're going to connect this back up to the other line. So we need to get rid of these trees. Right here, there, and everywhere. Now this is going to be a little bit tighter of a turn coming back into this other line. But all in all, I think it'll work. So basically you'll just be coming across right here, and then you'll be coming into this line. This is going to be a tighter turn for sure. There's not going to be any way around that. So this turn, but let's be honest, if a locomotive engineer is in a rail yard, your speed limits in that rail yard is not going to be balls to the walls wide open. That's an impossibility. Every yard has a speed limit. And that being said, when you're in a rail yard, you are going to be a lot slower than if you're out on this main line track somewhere down the road. So that being said, this being a tighter turn isn't really gonna hurt that bad. It's gonna look kind of strange, I think. And I may have to get rid of this area right here because I don't like this dirt work being way off like that. With it all sticking down there below the hill. Because basically what happens is right here you end up with this ridge sticking off there, and that creates a nasty look. So anytime you have to be close to the edge like this, you're almost better off if you use the... Matter of fact, this goes all the way back to where? So basically looks like it starts right here. So basically all of this track would have to be changed, and I don't really want to change it all. Hopefully the trees will block some of that. But I do think right here I'm going to get rid of this groundwork. Right through there. So that looks better down through there. The only spot you're really going to have is going to be right here. And that's only because I don't want to have to redo the shunt line too. I'd actually have to cut it back all the way to right here. And I think that'll... there's still a little spot sticking through. So yeah, it's kind of a pain in the butt. So really right here is where we're starting. Alright, so from here I'm going to have to do a stone wall, and I have to find a spot where it'll drop it down far enough to actually start it, like right here. Meet up with my other dirt work right there. The only problem with that is, being that this shunt line is through here, this shunt line is gonna look kind of weird, but it's the only way I can do it, guys, without it looking weird down there. So it'll basically look like that. It looks a little weird, and I'm sorry, there's not much I can do about that, but it looks better than what it did before, because now it doesn't stick off down here except in that one spot, and it makes for a lot better looking scenery. Now I can cut this back further, but I'm not gonna. Simply because I don't really like those concrete ridges sticking through there. It makes it look kind of weird, but that's the only spot where you're gonna see that weirdness at. But all in all, if you're down the hill, it'll look a lot better. So you can kind of begin to see how this is looking and how it's laid out. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit long, this video, simply because I want to try to do the shunt lines and everything all in one take, where you can kind of see how it's going to go, how it's going to progress. That being said, we are going to have to connect up to this. So right here, we need to bring off our line that's going to go back into the other line. Alright, so right here we need a switch. This switch is going to have to go to the right, to the left, like so. And we need it to come back up above ground because it's kind of acting goofy right there. Alright, then this will connect up to this line. Alright, so let's get rid of those trees. Then we're going to have to come from over here back into our other line. So this is going to be kind of a turn coming this way, and then a connect up. We could drop this line further back, but I think where we have it, let's go this way real quick, just so I can see how this is going to look right here, because we're going to have to come around this way. Coming down this hill. Yeah, see, that's not bad. Alright, so that being said, right here, we're going to have to come off, come into this, so we're going to have a weird look. But it will work. Now the question is that throwing my groundwork back off the table again? I mean, off the plateau. Oops. Okay, so right there, we're gonna have to adjust this because that's not gonna meet up correctly. So right here we're gonna have to start dropping this back down. Otherwise, we end up with our track kind of buried. And we don't want that. So we just go toward the center and eventually it all meets up. Alright. So yeah, it's gonna have kind of a weird design to it. But I think all in all it'll work. So hopefully you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. So you'll have the ability to go two different directions. So when you come in, you can go all the way around and come back this way and you'll be headed out. Or you can come this way coming in and come around and you'll connect back up to here. Either way it goes, you're still going to be working yourself the same directions. You're going to end up in the same spot no matter what. Basically what I'm trying to say. And that's kind of tight right there, so we'll have to kind of play around with that and see how that works. Hopefully it won't jerk the train off the track. That's not going to meet up correctly. Alright, so I am going to have to redo this little spot here. Because the track isn't meeting up correct. That's not that big a deal. Alright. Oops. And I did the same thing right there. Alright, because I got off. Alright, let's demolish this and start over. Shall we? Right through there, basically. And then we also need to do the same thing right here, because this doesn't meet up correctly. So we're going to come from this side so that we get a smoother transition. Connecting up the track. Hopefully. Alright, we'll have to see how that does. Hopefully, I mean, we're smoother here, but we may be too tight right here. We'll just have to kind of see. Now over here, we want to do the same thing. We want to go from this side and connect straight over to there so that we don't have that bend in the middle. Kind of trying to make sure that we meet up with our track a lot better than we were a minute ago. So that way these two connect up for a straighter rail. There we go. Alright, so hopefully you guys can now see exactly where I'm coming from with this. Now right here we may have to kind of edge this over a little bit to make the groundwork look correct through here. You see what I'm talking about getting to the lowest point, because when you pop your groundwork, if you're at a high point, it doesn't look right. See, now our groundwork is way too far over. So we'll do it from right here so that you can't really see it as well. Hopefully that doesn't come off the side too bad. Yes, it does. Alright. So we're going to take that back out. Delete. Oops. Not what I wanted to delete. I actually wanted to delete that one, which is the one that's sticking off the side. There's actually another one there, and probably that one. So hopefully that takes away. Oh, see, a minute ago I didn't have all of that. Oh, I hate when you fall off the hill. So now I gotta figure out a way to get back up there. There we go. Come on, guys. Let me up the freaking hill. To come way over there to get back up the hill. Yeah, I don't really care for that. I don't like my groundwork sticking through down there. So, right here, figure out which one that is. It's that one there. Alright, so that's gone. That's gone. Alright. Yep, that'll be alright. Alright, so now I just need to connect our rail here. And now we're connected all up for this top section up here. I think that'll work out pretty good. We have enough room here we can make any adjustments that we might need to do. But now this whole area up here is completed. So basically now we just need to bring in the rest of the line, which simply put will take a whole nother video, but at least you guys can see how I do it. I think it works out really well. I like it. The only thing that I really did not care for is the ground material that we had to use on this far side. This spot right here looks pretty good. But when you get right here and you have the two tracks meeting up, I don't really care for this groundwork. Unfortunately, if I use the other type, though, I end up with an issue. And I don't like that either. So, out of my choices of groundwork, this is the best one that I can use. And I'm sorry, I'm starting to get a little tired. But this is my best one that I can use. Hang on, I don't really care for this little bend right here. Why is this so crooked? Crooked dingling looking track right here. That's gotta go. I need to straighten that out. There is no reason why that can't be a straight shot through there. I don't know how that got so far off. Alright, we're gonna bring this one back just a little bit further and then connect it back up. So that'll be a lot better looking. Just a straight line connect, and we get a lot smoother track down through here without that little S bend in it, or without that little bend. Yeah, that looks a lot better. A lot better. Alright, so basically, I think we're looking pretty good. I might even do so much as to come off of here, or to come off of this rail with with an engine shed where you can park 2 engines. I don't know. There's some space right here, but to be honest with you, there's not much room, and the tracks would have to be right in the center. Otherwise, you're going to end up with some really tight turns right here. But there's still a little bit of room over there that we can work with. So, I don't know, we might do something with that. Right now, however, we can't do anything. But once I get done laying this rail, I don't really care, but you see, this happens quite often. This track here buried itself in the ground when it got laid. It should be above ground like this. And how it did that, I have no clue. But that presents this little bump right here. And the only way that I can fix that is to relay this whole switch track. And I don't want to do that, because lining it back up and getting it perfect will be a pain in the butt, and it's already pretty straight the way it is. So if I mess with it, then I'm going to have to try to line all of this back up, and that can be worse yet. So if that little bump right there doesn't cause a problem in the train, I'm not going to worry about it. I'll leave it. Now, I may try to find a picture of what I'm talking about a rail not being absolutely straight, because no railroad track is. You have waves where the rail is up on one side, down on the other, causes the train to rock back and forth from left to right as it's passing over it. There's actually several countries that have the waviest rail in the world that, I mean, looks absolutely horrible. But trains use it every day. So, to be fair, this track, this rail, looks pretty good in comparison to some rails in the country. But whether it works in a physics-based game has yet to be seen. I'll have to test it all out. Now, the very beginning section, which has the freight yard, the sawmill, the tools, the refinery, the oil field, all of that section I have tested the track on. The only area down on that bottom side that I have any issues at all is the train shed area that I built. And it's only on one side. One train shed seems to like to derail train. But other than that, everything else and all of that lower section works perfectly fine. So once I get done, and I did test the track from the lumber yard to the smelter, and I relayed that track because there was a big issue. It was yeeting the train off the track constantly. So I redid that track. I have not tested it since I redid it, but I'm pretty sure with the layout that I made, it works pretty good. I just need to test the layout across the valley where it comes up to the coal mine. All of that where the switchback is needs to be tested. That has not been tested yet. We will need to fix this bridge because I just put this here as a temporary. So we're not, that's not where this bridge is going to stay. It'll actually run from right here across, basically. So to be fair, the bridge will actually start about here and run across there. Right up in there. So that way this comes down, meets up with this, and then meets up over here. And that's basically how we'll do this one. No biggie there. So we just need to demolish that bridge. And then I actually did not mean to bring this up, but I did do a incline on accident. But actually looking at it, it's gonna work out pretty decent. So right about there. So this will be a straight shot across here basically, and then it'll turn on both sides. No big deal. This bridge is already laid and it looks pretty good, so that's where we're gonna leave it. Other than that, I think I have one more bridge to lay over here. Maybe not. Is that the only bridge that's gonna be up here? I think it is. I don't think there's gonna be a bridge over here. It's just basically groundwork. We need to get rid of this tree though. This tree is in the way, and it can't stay here to play another day. Don't listen to my singing, y'all. So that's basically it. Just basically, we just gotta finish out this route. But we have our route determined. So from here on, there's nothing to it. This will be the easy part. The thing that's going to get me though, if you want to know what the grade is, and I did explain this in another video, you can see we have, when we lay this, we have an incline here. So if you want to know, you're right at the ground right there. So you just drop down until you're even with the ground. Alright, so basically this is just a 2% grade through here. So that's not too bad. There is going to be, however, some steeper sections. And that's no big deal. We just want to try to keep it down as much as possible, so you don't end up with a 6 to 8% grade, which is actually unheard of. Most locomotives in the country most grades in the country are no more than 2%. And I think actually, to be honest with you, the biggest is like a 1.5% in most countries. I mean, most U.S. Inclines nowadays. So, but unfortunately, in this particular game, you can't run through a mountain and create a tunnel. So you have to create routes around and through, and therefore you are going to have percentages that it's going to be a little bit over what is true to life feasible grades, but they don't seem to hinder you too bad. If you can keep it no more than 3%, for the most part, you're doing pretty good. I think there is going to be, on my track, there is some 6% grade on the other side over there, but it's livable. It's livable. Alright guys, I went way too far over in this video. I think I'm actually coming up on the 2-hour mark. So I'm going to shut it down. And we will have to continue this video in another episode. But we now have the coal mine area completed up at the top. The floor plan for that layout area is complete, and I said that completely wrong. I'm starting to get tired, so my sentences aren't coming out like I want them to, but so basically that whole acreage up there around the coal mine itself, the track is laid out, the footprint is set. So basically this is just straight track through here. I mean, well, not straight, but it's going to be a single line shot all the way up. Now I will have to put some water towers and things like that. I'll have to work those into the line, just for grins and giggles, because to be honest with you, you may run short of firewood at the coal mine. So somewhere in between, you're going to need at least 1 to 2 backup spots in order to make sure you have enough firewood to supply your trains constantly. That's just the way it is. That's the way it's going to be in my rail. That may not be the other way, or the way that other YouTubers do it, but that is going to be the way that my rail is going to be done. I want to make sure that no matter what, my rail is set as far as making sure, and matter of fact, right here is actually probably a pretty good spot for putting that water tower. So if I was to put a water tower right here, and then maybe even a log area right beside it with a track coming around it, a firewood depot. Let's see, about right there, I think. Nope. But to give you an idea. And then the rail will come right along this edge. Like so. And then you'll have another rail that'll branch off and come right back here behind this. And then we'll connect back up over here. And that will supply your train in an extra location in case if you need or run short on but I do want this kinda more so over here. So if we drop this rail where we had it, which would be coming up the hill this way, like that, then we can actually lay this out correctly. So we will kill this facility, kill this, and then re-put it back down where it needs to go so that it's just up underneath that, and then right beside it is the firewood depot. Like so, which will come out perfect. We'll have to get rid of that tree. That tree, that tree. That tree, that tree, that tree, that tree, that tree, that tree. So to kind of give you an idea, so basically your track will run right through here, connect up, and then it'll run back over here and connect up. And you'll be able to go to either spot. But you'll have a backup location to get water and firewood if you run short. So I think that'll be alright. Now we want to get rid of this groundwork right there and right there because we're going to kind of ease that around. So Oops. Not quite what I wanted. %. Alright, so we'll have a 2% grade coming through here. And then you'll connect up to this location up here. Right here, we'll have to bring the branch off. So we'll need a track going to the right. Right here. Basically right there, and this one will come up, over, and around. It's just that simple, guys. That easy. It's just a little bit of planning. So, and then we'll do a variable grade, bring it up. And just like that. This side needs to be cut off because it's too high up, the grade is. So right here we need to continue on, but we need to adjust our height so that we're not digging into the hill, but we're not 2,000 feet above it either. So basically it'll end up like that. Then we can get rid of this rail. So right there. We'll have to continue this piece over. But basically right here we'll have another switch rail This one will go to the left and come off on this side. So basically like right there. And then this will continue down through here. We need to demolish that row. And then pick back up here. Connect into there. Demolish this rail. And then right here we need to do some fine tuning, because we're looking good there, but then we go down the hill, so our grade is kind of goofy. That'll be alright, I think. We'll take a look at it and see. Because we're actually going to be on the outside edge of that. Coming up. Around. And then connecting back in. Like so. Now we have a firewood depot. A little ways down the hill from where we were originally at. So that gives us another spot to get firewood. Mighty nice. Mighty nice. And then basically we're just going to go ahead and connect up to here. And stop it right there. Alright, so this section here is done. Just a little bit to help us out on our route. Alright guys, that's going to be the end of this video for today. I hope you guys like and subscribe to my channel. It'll help me out a bunch. I know I've enjoyed making these. I hope that I've given a few pointers that'll help you guys out. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully, we'll be a lot closer So I think in the next video, we'll go ahead and connect the coal line up to this line. And if we have time, we'll continue our route. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Part of that route is already done. Over on the other side. And yes, we have a long way to go. We're way over here right now. And this smelter line is going to be a very long trip through here. So we definitely want to make sure that we're not running out of firewood and water along the way. Because I think, in all honesty, the coal line to the smelter is the longest trip out of any directions that you have to go. Because there's no way to get from the coal mine to the refinery without going all the way back to the smelter. There's just no way. You're gonna have to go back through the sawmill. It's the only way through there. And that is the honest truth. I don't even think there's a route over by the freight depot. I don't think there is. There's no other paths that I have been able to find that goes through there except by the sawmill. So, and we have that route. So, basically everything is just going to connect up to there. Now, I think that we might come up and do, and matter of fact, I saw this in a Con Gaming video, where he has a branch off that comes from the sawmill, branches and goes directly to the iron ore mine up the other side of the hill. The backside. So we may do that as well. And that way you can come directly from the sawmill to the iron ore mine and then over to the smelter. I don't know. We'll cross that bridge literally once we get to it. But guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys will come back for the next video. I've enjoyed making these. I'm fairly new at YouTube, so everything you get from me is going to be raw, uncut footage, errors, everything, changes in my opinion, changes in my mind, changes in direction. All of that is going to be in there. I'm not going to cut anything out. Because I'm only human. Just like you guys. And I make mistakes. Just like anybody does. And I want you guys to see those mistakes. So maybe when you're building your rail, you can avoid making the same mistakes I do. So, alright guys, we'll see you in the next footage.